about this little feeble paper fledgling with a naive wide grin who enters this world that is like not like theirs. So they come from like this kind of paper forest world, and they get pushed out by like these tree chopping, robots and industrialists into like this polluted world, and they're kind of like trying to get their way back home. And it's kind of a game about pollution and just like finding your way and making change and being able to make an impact no matter how small you are. And yeah, we got some cool mechanics in there where you can just like kind of impact the environment, change it in small ways, like grow new flowers that impact you. You go through a level, and then once you kind of like clean out the bad stuff, it kind of changes. So like in the swamp, you drain the bad water, put the clean water in, and then mushrooms grow, and then you can kind of bounce on the mushrooms. So all the environment changes we do in the world, it's kind of interactive as well. So you kind of feel the effects as you're playing through rather than at the end. And we've got some really cool combat mechanics too. So yeah, we have this kind of shield mechanic, sort of kind of like a boomerang, Mario Odyssey shield throw mechanic thing. Save for another game, and I was just like, let's just stick it in here. And it kind of worked out because then it became a trash link, and then it kind of all just kind of worked. The theme and the mechanics and the bits and pieces of the world started overlapping, so it was really cool. So I started with the character Ra, this little paper guy, 10 years ago. I was actually making this 2D game, and he's just in a little paper world, and it was still about recycling, funny enough. So I'd come up with the idea 10 years ago. And I just finished my first game, and I was like, yeah, I have this cool shield mechanic, and I have this cool character. And I was like, I really want to make an adventure game. And I was like, but, like, what do I want to explore? And I saw, like, I had this picture up on my wall of Ra. And I was just like, with, climate and, pollution is kind of a big, in the focus at the moment. I was like, I'd love to explore that deeper. And I just began researching, deeper into these things, and I really wanted to explore, like, a world where, it actually needs saving. Like, that's kind of exciting to me. It's, it's not a theme that's done often. I was like, rather than, green meadows, and there's just the bad guy going, I'm going to steal your land, let's show a land that actually needs saving. At the end of 2020, I was like, I want to make an adventure game, it's time, I've worked in the industry for like over 10 years. I just want to do something big and grand and something I'm very passionate about. I love adventure games. So, that's the thing. It's like I wanted to make an adventure game that, was a little bit different as well. So that's why we have the environment changing, bits and pieces, It's that environment changing aspect is through kind of like multiple like areas of the game, through the boss fights, the exploring, how you get your abilities. So that, we had to land on that kind of thing. But it's just taken this time, the last, 3-4 years part-time to kind of arrive at this point. But yeah, it's the characters and the idea's been around, sitting there for 10 years. So that's kind of how, where it came from. I enjoy making the characters, but then like at the moment I'm really enjoying the combat because we spent so long trying to figure out how to make this like boomerang combat where it's like about timing, where, do you block? Do you, reflect the projectiles back? Do you just, charge up your throw? So it's like this cool combat that we've kind of figured out. But I'm also really excited about the environment changing because like in the boss battles, they have this thing where they do this wrath move and it upgrades the environment to a more hazardous level. So you have to go in and kind of counter the boss before it does its wrath move to de-hazard the environment. So not only are you versing the boss, but the boss is trying to make the arena more hazardous to play in. So there's a lot of cool ideas where kind of like mucking about with the environment and, how you interact with it with other kind of enemies and stuff. So yeah, we're really excited about a lot of things. It's been very slow. So I wanted to spend a lot of time in pre-production, trying to get all the design right. We've got a lot of cool ideas because it's tied to the environment. So like with an adventure game, you want to explore, you want to like, discover the land, this and that, find secrets. So we really wanted to find like some good mechanics that tied in to you exploring, and we wanted to do the less is more kind of thing. So we got these like biomes, but then as you progress through, you kind of like influence them, and they kind of change in little bits and pieces. So we really had to sit down and figure out what's like a good mechanic. So it's been pretty slow, but like really rewarding finding out those good things. So if we rushed through, we would have missed half the good ideas. So it's been a pretty slow journey, but we're still going. It's kind of like in a million pieces. So we've got a lot of things done, but it's like the levels that are taking, the most amount of time. So it'll be pretty heavy leaning into the level stuff, just making more of the levels, seeing how it works. Yeah, so that's pretty much where we're at, and it's like it's not a lot of the stuff that you can show. It's just a lot of like the kind of like the non-exciting stuff where it's like, oh, here's some boxes, the character claiming. So that's the part of the journey where it's just like, okay, this is just the work to do. You got a lot of things to get out, and that's how it kind of goes for a while. We can start showing the cooler stuff. I've been like pretty hesitant to put anything out too early because we're just like refining things. We kind of want to get it right because we're obviously, we've got feedback before and we're like, okay, so we know this. I'd like to get a position where it's like it actually represents, the three kind of areas that we're looking at for the game to really impress people. And the environment changing one is a bit of a hard one because it's like a more longer progressive thing, so it's hard to really capture someone in straight away with that idea. So we're looking at trying to do that. It's so fun to watch people play because not only you can kind of see how they react, but then they'll play in a way that you didn't think of. Or I saw someone who just like jumped across this bit, and I was like, oh my god, you just like cheated, and you just found a secret. It's that inquisitive nature or curious nature, like, oh, can I go here? Can I push that boundary? Oh, I see an area that I feel like I could, is there a secret there? So it's kind of cool to see how they do it. And also it's a good indication on how they're reading the environment that you're directing them in. You've got to guide them through it, put like little visual markers there to like show them, is this a dead end? Can you get through here? That kind of thing. So my morning starts with a coffee. Hazelnut coffee, right? It's either a store-bought, I've got the instant packet, so I need to have hazelnut in my coffee, right? So that's at 8:39. Then at 12, my next drink is like those vitamin, boost drinks. That's my 12 ones. Like I'm still going, energy recharge. And then like if I'm doing like a later shift, like just 5 onwards, it's just like Pepsi Max, refueling the tank. So, or another coffee, it just depends. But yeah, my day is split into a 3, drink cycle. Follow the game wish list. It's an adventure game inspired by what we grew up with. It's got a bit of a different twist, so nostalgic but new. So wish list, follow Junklands.